Right then, Steve, first of all, we're going to start with a bit of transfer speculation. Sidney Peck has been heavily linked with Rotherham, so what's the latest? Is he going to be coming in?
Listen, I cannot talk about a player belonging to Chris Wilder. All of a sudden Chris Wilder buying me the odd pint or two would stop when it'd be the old face. Listen, everyone knows that we have an interest, but he's a Sheffield United player. He's part of their plans as we speak, and he's not the only player in that area that we're having chats about. So that'll probably drift for a while.
Was it a week to go? Is there much work to do in the market for you, Steve?
We don't have lots to do. Our squad's in a good position. We might be handicapped a little bit at the present time with 2 or 3 injuries that are not long term, that we could be doing without. But everyone has these type of issues, particularly at the start of a new season. But our squad's in good shape. We probably just need to top it with 1 or 2 of the players that'll make it a more rounded and blended squad.
What do you make of the start so far?
Frustrating. I think I said I got it wrong at Exeter, so we'll park that one. Don't make many mistakes like that, but I made it. Sometimes your players help you out as well, but they've got the best reasons in the world not to when they're given instructions to play in a particular way. So that was wrong. I thought we were very good against Crewe for spells. Bristol Rovers, exceptional for spells. Could have been sitting here on the back end of a 6 or 7-0, but we're not. So the 2 cup games we've won and a frustrating draw home to Bristol Rovers. So I'd say frustrating. It's going to take time. Whatever people want to pop up and say about this is not a new group and stuff like that. You have to only look at the new lads that's in the building. It's a new group and there's going to be some teething issues along the way. But I've had that in most clubs I went into, and then we've got it right.
Is that always a bit of a gelling period? And are you seeing with the work that you do with the players week to week that this revamped squad is starting to really come together?
Yeah, listen, the best examples are the supporters and you guys, the media, who went to Exeter and then compare that to Bristol Rovers. It was chalk and cheese, the performance. Arguably, Bristol Rovers are better on paper than Exeter. It's an argument that can fall on both sides. But if we don't give the boys a chance by getting our side of it right, then we pay the price. So they're excused to that game. They're not excused for the games thereafter. But there is certainly little partnerships and little parts of the team that's starting to adapt to how we want to play.
I don't know if you're one of these managers who pays a lot of attention to expected goals, Steve, but your XG is the highest in League One, but you haven't scored in either game. I wonder, how do you sort of balance that out? Are you encouraged that the chances have been created, or are you more disappointed that you haven't taken them?
Listen, as a manager, if your team's not making chances and you're not winning, you've got severe problems. Whatever way a manager wants to dress that up. There's a few managers around different leagues at the minute in the EFL and in the Premier League who have that problem. They don't make chances. They don't look like scoring a goal. In every game we've played, let's be frank here, I've just heavily criticised myself and Paul for what was not right at Exeter, but we should score 4 at Exeter. Because we lay saves to the goal in the last 10-15 minutes. We make 4 good chances. We should score 7 or 8 against Crewe. We should do the same against Bristol. Mansfield was a different type of performance where we've put players on the pitch to get minutes and played them in different positions to get minutes. So our XG will be high because we look a real threat. But obviously there comes a time when you want those chances to be taken.
You've voiced a high degree of confidence in your captain, Johnson Clark-Harris. Can you talk a bit about your faith in him and the rest of these strikers, that they will start to score the goals?
Oh, they'll score goals. You don't... Listen, you could probably win the Golden Boot in League One once in 100 years if you're lucky. To do it 2 and 3 years and then score, I think it was 14 or 15 goals with minimal appearances last season, tells you what Johnson's about. But the reality is, he missed a big 2.5-3 weeks in pre-season with a little calf strain. And if we hadn't looked after him then, there's a double side of this. You lose him for that 2.5 or 3 weeks, so it's a real core part of your fitness and sharpness. But if you don't look after him, there's a chance what you do is you injure the player deeper and further, like happened here last year. We had players that needed 2.5 weeks last year. They got a week and then were out for 3 months. We're not going to do that. So Johnson will score goals. Johnson needs to find that little bit of sharpness, but even yesterday and a couple of days this week on the training ground, he's working harder and longer to help him with that. The other strikers, Jordan Hugo to me is a really good striker. He's probably 90% of the clubs in our league would certainly want Jordan in their group. We want him in our group. He had a little bit between his teeth the other night. He didn't get much action against Bristol Rovers, not a lot of time to do anything. But he went out with his bit between his teeth against Mansfield on Tuesday, and you only have to look at his first goal. His first goal was just a magnificent touch, magnificent finish. After what it has to be said, if anyone finds in the EFL League One a better pass than what McDonald gave him, then I'm going to be looking for it, because there wasn't and there won't be any. So the strikers will score goals. Sam Noonby missed some chances against Bristol Rovers, but the good thing you get with Sam Noonby is he's not frightened to go back in. A lot of strikers miss one or two chances and go hidey poos. He didn't go hidey poos. He goes back into the box looking for another chance, and that's the nature of Sam. And young Sapper's finding his feet, which we always thought would be the case when he came out of Forest. I think they were up here yesterday and they were watching him, saying he's, from them, there's a lot of aspects he's improving, but there's a lot of aspects from our point of view, tactically and such like, where he has to improve further.
You mentioned in your newspaper column that you were going to give Malik Wilks the Ivan Toney treatment. Can you tell us what that means?
Kissing him, loving him, cuddling him. In all seriousness, with Malik, it's about honesty. I think when you hear managers say that they have to love a player to get the best out of him, I think it's being honest, being genuine, being sincere, caring for him, putting an arm around him. And in fairness to one or two people at Sheffield Wednesday who contacted me after we signed him, to really good people on the coaching staff there and the administration side, saying if you love him, you get the best. Spoke to Grant McCann, love him, you get the best. So it's just about having appreciation at times when he's not having the best of days, that he knows that you still regard him really, really highly as a player, and as importantly as football club, as a human being.
I remember covering him at Hull City when he helped them win the title, got all the goals, world was at his feet, there was a lot of expectation for him going up into the Championship. That was a few years ago now. Is he still at an age, Steve, where you can work him back into that form? Can he still realise his potential in his career?
Yeah, it's hard to believe that Malik's 25. He's 25 years old. It's hard to believe 9-10 years ago, whatever it was, he was under 15, under 16, played at Leeds when I was there as head coach. He got a wonderful move, didn't he? He went from Hull to a huge club like Sheffield Wednesday. He goes there. And I think sometimes you go to a club and people sometimes forget you need that love, you need that attention. Malik came from an environment where he did so well at Doncaster, did so well at Hull, scored lots of goals, lots of assists. No player ever single-handedly gets you promotion, but he was a huge, huge part of why Hull did so well. And then he gets the move that he probably thinks is a great move from him. But when you've come from that love and everyone in your camp, whether you be the manager, whether you be the player, the director, more importantly, supporters love him. I think you go to Sheffield Wednesday, it's like going to any new big club. You have to reprove yourself. They don't want you to think about what you did for Hull. They want you to think what you're going to do for Sheffield Wednesday. So from our point of view, we don't want you to think about what he's not done, and it's clearly what he's not done for Sheffield Wednesday. We want to be positive and think about what he can do here. And I don't think there's anyone disputes it. And when we brought him on in the game last week against Bristol, and then when we played him in midweek, when he gets the ball, positive things happen with Malik. And that's what we'll be looking for going forward.
On the injury front, is there any news on Joe Hungbo?
Joe Hungbo, he's trained yesterday, so Joe travelled to Wycombe.
Raggett and Rafferty, any update?
They'll try and train today. When I say try, they're probably unlikely to complete training today. And if they don't make the trip. So we're talking days here. We're not, Raf is frustrated a little bit because it's a little bit longer than just a niggly groin. But he's an honest kid and a pro. Big Sean twisted his knee trying to score a goal against Bristol Rovers, and he's just felt it most of the week. So, but again, we're talking if he don't travel tomorrow, it's days.
And Wycombe as a test, what do you make of them?
Yeah, really tough. I've watched quite a bit of the footage this season. Changed the style back to a more of a Gareth Ainsworth style that Matty Bloomfield played there. big, strong, physical. Got a lot about them. I like a lot of the players individually. We tried to sign one or two. So I think the lights went out there. Is it Gareth Ainsworth hiding now? And but no, so I think Mike Bloomfield played in that shape, in that system. So they've gone back a little bit to that. They made a real good signing, and the boy Humphreys from Ipswich in the week, who I'd assume might come straight back in, considering the boy Lee has gone out injured, from what we hear. But 1,000,000% from our point of view, it won't be about what Wycombe do. Full respect to them. And I love going there. It's a good club. Supporters get behind them, the whole thing. But it'll be about what we do, as we've proved in 3 games since Exeter.
Final question. If they've gone back to the Ainsworth style, do the dark arts play a big part in what they do? Because they did under Ainsworth, in fairness. They did like to try and frustrate, wind up, time waste. You know, they'd do anything to get a point, wouldn't they?
Yeah, listen, I think it was very successful though, wasn't it? You know, Gareth Ainsworth done a brilliant job. He took Wycombe to the Championship, which when Gareth took that job would have been just unthinkable. I think I've discussed this many times, but I can remember one of Gareth's early parts in his job was phoning me when I was at Leeds United saying, "You've got an international break coming in 2 weeks. Can you come and play us on a Friday night so we can pay our wages?" And we did. I think we took about 3,500 fans from Leeds down there, and it helped Wycombe survive another payday to get through to the current owners, or the now second owners, if you like, come in. But I think he'd done a wonderful job. And you know, in football, it's often forgotten. You need to do what it takes to win football matches. That's the manager's job, win football matches. Because we know if you don't win football matches, you one or two managers have found this out early season. If you don't win football matches, you know, over a period, then you look for a different job.
Cheers, Steve.
Steve, in terms of the 3 injured lads, they all got injured during the game. Touch wood, you seem to have got rid of the training ground injuries, which you problem last season.
Listen, we can all make excuses, can't we? We can all make excuses if we want to make excuses. Training grounds, weather, kit, we can all make excuses. I come in here and I made it clear we would work to a system that if players have niggles and knocks, but we give them sufficient time. We don't give them extra time. Players get paid a lot of money, so we don't give them extra time, but we give them sufficient time. More importantly, there is no point in us having a head of medical, 2 physios, 2 masseuses. There's no point if there's no other staffing structure, and then not to buy into their experience and their expertise. And as much as I think I'm the best physio in this building, in reality I'm probably the worst, because I want all my players out for every session. So Chris Royston does a good job here, and perhaps in the past he would never say it, but I could say it for him. He was overruled, which led to a lot of additional time of players out, which really cost us football club last season. We cannot go down that road again. If it means we have 2 or 3 players missing at this part of the season, to have them for 8 months of the season, that to me is a no-brainer. You can't have them back early and lose them for months and months. And that wasn't said to me, because that was said by a lot of players when their exit meetings with me back in the summer.
Some of the new lads have looked good, but one particularly, just in my view, Reece James. What a lovely player he is. I just get your thoughts on it.
Reece is a proper player. He's a proper human being. I think he was very unlucky at Sheffield Wednesday. I think when you speak to when I had a chat with Danny Roll about Reece, he said the same thing. He's very, very unlucky. He's a wonderful footballer. He'll make mistakes and he'll give the ball away at times in bad areas, because he tries to execute the right pass. He tries. And I would always have a player who's prepared to succeed, rather than a player that plays safe. Players that play safe finish in the middle of the table, and that can be an objective for us. So he typifies what we're about. He lives properly. He's a true professional. A lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans think highly of Reece, and they think because his performances at large have been good.
Reece, how are you finding it so far?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been really interesting. It's been good to get going. It's a really good group of lads, and like I say, I'm really enjoying it at the moment.
What is it like when a squad gets revamped to this extent, and you have a lot of new players needing to come together and gel?
Yeah, it's difficult. I think that's one of the best parts about pre-season. You get sort of an amount of time to sort of work together, playing different games, different systems, but also it's good to sort of go away for a little bit of time, which we did when we went to Scotland. It allows for that sort of gelling sort of stage and phase that you each get to know each one of the other, especially lads that you've not come across sort of in football or played with. So it's a really good time that makes it important for sort of building sort of foundations for what's going to be for the rest of the season.
Manager said that he's found it a little bit frustrating at the start of the year because you've created a lot of chances but haven't got the goals. Is that a view shared by the players on the start?
Yeah, it's been tough. I think Bristol game specifically was one to look back on that. But you know, one of the positive things that you can take from that is we're getting into the right positions, we're creating the chances, and I think when you look at the strikers we've got here, we've got goals in abundance. I think it's proven at various levels. So I don't think it's something to be worried about. I think it's more, it's going to click. It's just when that time comes.
The manager's also been talking about his appreciation for you, that your willingness to try and play, you know, an aggressive pass to get the team playing. He says he likes that about players. Why has that always been a part of your game? How have the different experiences and maybe the way that you've developed during your career made you that kind of player?
I think it's sort of the way I've been sort of like educated to play, really, from younger age groups coming through at United, and then past managers as well. I think that's been something that I was always progressed with, and sort of given a licence. I think from the likes of Gary Caldwell, Darren Moore, and now with the gaffer, you get the licence and the freedom to do that and sort of express yourself, as opposed to playing with a little bit of shackles on that you might not risk that sort of pass, but something that I enjoy and try and look for as much as possible.
And finally, you know, as we talk about maybe the frustration of the first two games, you've been here and done it in this division before. Is that just part of the season that it's never going to just be fantastic every week, isn't it? You are going to kind of have these moments that maybe can be a bit testing, a bit frustrating.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're always going to go through sticky patches. It's happened at previous seasons wherever I've been club-wise. It's a difficult league. People look at it and think like where you expect 3 points, but I think it's getting more tougher as you look through the fixture list. It's not as easy to turn around and say, oh, there's 3 points, there's 3 points. It's not possible. Every game's a tough game, and it's a tough game in this league, and I think that's something that you've got to realise. But you know, when it comes to the moments, you've got to stand up and make sure that you are giving account of yourselves and, you know, fighting to achieve what is ultimately the goal, and that's promotion.